If you've ever felt guilty for spending money or wondered why you can't save like you feel like you should, or you have trouble kicking your Amazon habit, you're not alone. Most of us were never really taught how to have a healthy relationship with money, and that's what we're diving into today. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. So you probably know by now that I am a coach for midlife women, but what you may not know about me is that I am also a former financial advisor, and I have spent 17 years working in the financial planning world. So I really have seen money from both sides, the numbers and the emotions behind them. And let me tell you, no matter how much or how little someone earns, what truly shapes their peace of mind is their relationship with money. So if you've ever caught yourself avoiding your bank balance or overspending to feel better, or even stressing out about money, even when things look fine on paper, this episode is for you. Now, today I'm going to share one of the stories from one of my clients. She was kind enough to let me talk about her journey, but I have changed her name and a few details to protect her privacy. But her transformation has been so powerful, and I think it's one that a lot of us can relate to, and certainly one that a lot of us can learn from. So as we go through the story, I'm going to share with you a few simple exercises that I gave her to try in our coaching sessions, so you can try them for yourself and start shifting your money mindset. Okay, so we're going to call her Sarah. Sarah grew up in a family where people with money were other people. She heard things like, must be nice, and we can't afford that. So she learned really early that money was something to be really careful with or even a little suspicious of. Now, fast forward to adulthood. Sarah's doing well financially, honestly, better than she could have ever imagined, but she still doesn't feel wealthy. She avoids budgeting because it feels restrictive to her. She overspends when she's stressed. And every time she looks at her accounts, she feels guilt or shame or panic. So when we started working together, one of the things that I asked her was this: if money were a person, how would you describe your relationship right now? And she kind of laughed and she was like, well, it's complicated. And then she paused and she said, it's kind of like that on again, off again relationship. You know, I love it, I'm mad at it, I ignore it, and then I miss it. And so we talked through that, and we really did turn money into more of a relationship, something that she could understand emotionally, as if it were a boyfriend that she really wanted to have a meaningful relationship with. So one of the pieces of homework that I gave her was I wanted her to write a letter to money as if it were a person. Now, I get it. This sounds a little crazy, and it may be really hard to wrap your head around. But she found that when she sat down to actually do it, the words flowed out on the paper much easier than she thought it would. And she was able to actually pour out the emotional side of how she felt about money, which was a really important connection for her to make. And after she was done with that, I had her write a letter from money back to her. Now, that one was more difficult, but she was able to do it. And this combination is really where everything started to change for her. So through our work together, she realized that one of the things she does is she overspends not to prove something to other people, but really to prove to herself that she belongs in this group, that she's one of them, and that she's successful and capable. The next thing I had her do was to write down her own identity, like where she has been with money and where she wants to go with money. In the past, she spends money, she ignores it, she avoids confronting her issues with it, and it's all very impulsive. So when I had her name that personality, we talked through it, and she came up with moneyholic me, which is pretty genius. And then we talked about where she wants to be with money. What does she want that relationship to look like? Paying attention to it, intentional spending, intentional saving, respect, and being comfortable with earning money, making money, and having money. So we talked through her identifying that version of herself, and I actually gave her my nickname for my future me that I have around money, which is Millionaire Me. And she loved that and took that one for herself as well. Now, this didn't mean that she suddenly became a millionaire, but it did help her to start identifying as a millionaire and identifying the ways that Millionaire Me would behave and would think. That helped her to start to incorporate thinking and acting like the version of herself who already felt safe with money. Millionaire me checks her balances daily without guilt or panic. Millionaire me spends intentionally, not impulsively. And millionaire me saves money for her future and future goals. And she also trusts herself to handle more. So the results really were immediate. I mean, granted, not everything changed overnight, of course, but there really was a big shift pretty quickly. One of the things that she caught herself doing a lot was spending on Amazon. Just those impulse, habitual buying patterns that she really needed to interrupt. So what I suggested was to give herself a 24-hour pause before buying the thing. And the way that she did that was she set up an Amazon wish list and she just named it the wait list. So now when she has an impulse to buy something, she just puts it in her wait list first. It doesn't mean that she can't buy the thing. It's just interrupting that habit so it's not always an impulse buy. So that as soon as that thought enters her mind, she's not immediately opening up the app and buying the thing. And by the way, what she discovered doing this was that she actually didn't need to buy nearly as much stuff as she thought. Her wait list has a ton of stuff in it that's now been there for a couple of weeks, and she hasn't gone back to actually purchase the things. So by doing that, it scratches her shopping itch because she's able to look at the thing and put it somewhere so it kind of feels like she's shopping, but she's not actually buying it and spending that money unnecessarily. And that has been a huge win for her. Now, she and her husband also created a Sunday check-in for their finances, something that used to cause a lot of tension. But she is working to reframe that to feel more like teamwork. And for the first time in her adult life, she says that she feels calm about money. What a huge win, right? Here is what I want you to take from Sarah's story. Your money story isn't about math. I mean, sure, okay, there's math with money, obviously. But it's really more about meaning, and you can start rewriting your money story today. Okay, so let me give you some simple exercises to try. Number 1, name your money relationship. So if money were a person, how would you describe your relationship right now? Is it supportive? Unpredictable? Is it distant? Is it dramatic? And then ask, what do I want it to feel like instead? Even that awareness can start to shift how you interact with money. All right, number 2, create your money identity. Give your current money self a name and give your future self a name too. And feel free to steal millionaire me. I personally really love that one. But maybe for you, present you is avoidant Amy and your future you is aligned Amy. Or whatever works for your name, obviously. And ask yourself, what is it that future me believes about money that present me doesn't quite yet? And then start practicing that belief in small, everyday ways. All right, number 3, and this is a really important one. Each day for 1 week, take a 2-minute look at your numbers without judgment. So this means actually looking at those accounts, glance at the balance, look at money coming in. Look at money going out and ask yourself, what am I grateful for? Ask yourself, what feels aligned? And then ask yourself, what needs attention? Now, as always, the goal is not perfection. We are imperfect humans. The goal here really is just presence. With these small actions, you are teaching your nervous system that money isn't something to fear. And fear around money is what drives a lot of our bad habits. Here is one thing that I firmly in my soul believe about money. Whether you call it God or the universe or something else, I believe that we are given what we can handle. Now, you've probably heard that when we talk about something bad happening in your life. But here, I'm talking about something good in your life, which is money. And I believe that abundance flows to those who can handle it. And when we show God, the universe, whatever, that we can manage what we have with intention and gratitude, we naturally expand our capacity to receive more. So when you start treating money as a relationship to be nurtured, not just like a problem to be solved, that is when everything will begin to shift. All right. So here is your reminder for today. Your money story is not set in stone. It is just a script. And oftentimes it is full of a lot of baggage that you have been carrying with you since childhood. But the good news is you can rewrite it at any time, starting today. So that is what I would like to encourage you to do. That is what midlife is all about. It is becoming that next best version of ourselves. So get after it. All right, my friend. If this episode spoke to you, it would mean the world to me if you'd take just a quick second and rate and review the show. It helps me so much, and it helps more women find these conversations and start rewriting their story too. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. All right, my friend, go forward and spend and save with intention, not impulse. All right, y'all, that's all I've got for today. Go be fabulous.